Okay. Any questions so far? I was just looking at the first day on YouTube of the seminar, and with the new angles and the cameras that we've made more sophisticated. The last seminar prior to this, which was in January, and of course this seminar, and people, some of you have even said, I've seen most of your stuff on YouTube, I've watched your stuff on YouTube, and as I think commented last night at dinner, it's not the same as me being in person. There's something, and Brian Rose is not the only one that's commented, but I am different in 3-dimension, and he even says it's 4-dimension. And it's, even though I yell on YouTube and I've gotten aggressive on YouTube, it's not the same as me getting aggressive in your face here in person. But that's the world that I've seen. Now, I haven't been in New York or London doing deals recently, but they tell me that people are more politically correct, and they don't have the same aggression as they did back in my heyday, so to speak, in the 80s and early 90s. And that's a reflection to give what I had said earlier about the political correctness, and I believe that it's a manifestation of lack of self-esteem worldwide. Maybe in 50 or 100 years somebody will write about that and prove me wrong. I rather doubt it. But these guys, the influencers, have never been politically correct. None of these guys. And so when you think about, from Michael Milken to Jack Welch to Joe Batten to Walt Disney to Donald Trump to Ted Turner to Ross Perot to Steinbrenner to obviously General Patton, they've never been politically correct. And I'm sure people would have not such kind things to say about them on blogs, etc., in today's world. But as people that have, my detractors, so to speak, have said about me, we don't agree with some of the methodology Mr. Peña teaches, but we can't argue or compare with his success. So you can't have it both ways, in my judgment. And as I've said about work-life balance, as Jack Welch says, is work-life choices, and they have consequences. It's that simple. And so you will make that choice for yourself. And during the month-long program that we're working together quite closely, I will say derogatory things from time to time. And as part of the weekly report, the 3 sections, I will say, well, do you think you were a cunt? Do you think you wussed out? And when put under pressure to answer that question, 99 times out of 100 you'll say, yeah. But if I don't ask you that question, and I don't push that button, you'll just gloss over it. You won't comment on it. Even though, in my judgment, in my experience, in your heart of hearts, you know that you wussed out. Wussed out sounds better than being a cunt. But to me, I very seldom use that word. But if I do use that word, just so you understand, what I mean is you're a cunt. If I call you a wuss, it really, normally I use that word by accident, not on purpose. I'll just say, you were a wuss about it. QLA doesn't get traction if you're a wuss, because there's certain things, many things in the beginning you're going to have to do that way out of your comfort zone, way out. And then as you get month by month, week by week, month by month, your comfort zone will expand, so the things you're doing aren't outside your comfort zone. They just start to be inside your comfort zone, and then pretty soon it's just habit. And the goal is that to create the good habits as soon as humanly possible, not at the end of 12 months that you get for the program. And as I said, I'm working with some of the guys, 20 years off and on that came through the program. And some of them I've been in business with off and on for 20 years. And I've read you some of their emails either earlier today or late yesterday. But what we're doing is, the motivation got you here, as Jim Ryan told me, the famous miler, and habits keep you going is for us to form new habits. Stronger habits than the habits you've got now. And some of the habits you've got now you've had for a long, long, long time. So they don't just, fall off overnight. You don't fall off overnight. And it's like, physical training. I mean, and the more you use the habit, the stronger you'll get. But if you don't use the habit, you'll all of a sudden you'll forget. And it's, as I mentioned already, at least once or twice, or maybe even 3 times. It's muscle memory, it's brain memory, it's learning how to do new stuff. And then when you don't have to think about it, when you don't have to spreadsheet it, it just becomes, this is what I do. This is what I do. As I pointed out in the recent blog that Brian Rose posted that I wrote for London Real, that goes out every first of the month, QLA is my life. I do the same things. I'm this way in person. I'm this way on the videos because this is me. This is who I am. And a couple of you have asked me, and during this stuff with the reality show, both in Los Angeles and London, they've asked if I'm acting, which I also find amusing. But and I have been in a couple of movies, playing myself, one for Mikey the Pizza Boy, played myself, and overbearing, ruthless. I forget what I was. My time. Overbearing, ruthless, egotistical. A couple other adjectives. I don't remember them now, but. In their infinite wisdom, they were cut out, and I didn't make it past the cutting room floor. Because when the producers, and I'm executive producer of his movie, the other guys, the film editors, said that I was either too harsh or too rough, or I forget what it was. All of which were true, but I'm not acting. This is how I am. This is how I am at dinner, as you saw last night. And this will be how I am at the graduation ceremony. I'm already looking forward to poking some fun at some of you when I hand you your graduation certificates, amongst some other little prizes that you get. But this is who I am. And just as I mentioned to you, the producers of the 2 reality shows want to know if I'm going to run out of stories, which I also find amusing, because they don't want me to spend all my stories in the pre-production phase. And I just got an email for the contract for my U.S. reality show for me to peruse, and so now I'm perusing treatments and contracts and whatever else they're called, which I find both sides, they want to lock you up for as long as they possibly can. We're giving you as least latitude as humanly possible, and for you to trust them. Well, I'm past the trusting stage in my life, so that dog may not hunt, and so we may never get off the ground with either one of these deals, because I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have a little latitude to get out if I don't like it. So right now they've focused on that I can say, other than the C word, I can say anything I want. So, which is, I'm sure they're going to be bleeping me left, right, and center. But as an aside, Gordon Ramsay, for those of you that watch his show, he's a nice guy. He never swears in reality, in the real world. So I'm not saying Gordon's acting, and I'm not saying maybe he swears in the kitchen, but I'm told that that's not really his personality. I don't know that for a fact, but what I am going to give these guys on both sides of the Atlantic is my personality. Now, because of Monty's infinite perseverance, he got somebody to fix my video. Did you get proper? Is that proper credit? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it's forevermore on YouTube, and so we'll watch the Napoleon Hill one because I think that's very, very interesting. Well, he relates his story on an old video that he did many, many years ago. That when he first met Andrew Carnegie, and it made him famous. Now, Andrew Carnegie would have been famous anyway, but I mean, Napoleon Hill memorialized it in Think and Grow Rich, and he's written a couple other books, The Laws of Success, and a couple other things. And just to say again, I said it not on YouTube, but I'll say it now on YouTube. Just as Andrew Carnegie didn't leave his legacy to be carried on by anybody else, I have no intention of leaving my legacy to be carried on by anybody. I'm not going to pass the baton, as they say here, or baton to anybody. I would not wish teaching you guys on anybody. I wouldn't wish that. That would be, even though it's some of my nuns and priests, mentees think I'm a saint, but that would be not a saintly thing to do, to pass this on. We're going to, especially in the world of YouTube and videos and MP3s and all this stuff, there'll be plenty of stuff, ample material for people to study in the decades to come when I'm not here. Not that I plan on leaving anytime soon. I wanted to say one other thing before we cut off from the YouTubers, as I call them. If somebody's already emailed me, did you say inadvertently that April, which is this seminar, is the last gig you're doing? I don't remember saying that. Did anybody hear me say that? No. But I've gotten emails that I said that. So, well, it's not. This is not the last seminar I'm giving. And so whoever somehow misconstrued, misunderstood, but again, it just validates how fucking wrong, and never underestimate how wrong you can be. I don't remember saying that at all, but I've gotten a couple emails from people saying that I said it. And now these are English as not a primary language people. So I always have to try to translate what they really meant or what they think I meant. So maybe it's just got lost in the translation somehow.
Maybe they looked at one of the old videos.
Yeah, the old video I did say April. In fact, it was April 2 years ago, right? That I did say this was my last gig, and that's the one that Klaus came to. But I got halfway through the seminar, and I realized that I enjoyed it too much. And so, it's like a retired person, the wife wants to make sure they get out of the house enough, And so, what are you going to do, because she manages our business interests. So, pretty much, I only get involved if there's a big problem, because I can handle the problem, decision making in microseconds. I don't have to spreadsheet it. Okay, on that happy word, okay, YouTubers, we'll talk to you tonight. Thank you.